Hello and welcome to What Are You Saying? Ways, yes, and where we talk about all the topics in the news as it affects us all. I'm Mary Ann Okon and I'm being joined by my amazing forever co-anchor, Sheyi.
Hi, Marianne. It's so
It's
nice
like we're
to be
here
here
together
again
for the long
with
haul.
you. Yeah, we are.
So nothing can come. God has joined us
Nothing.
together.
Nobody can put us under.
And in the spirit of Easter, happy Easter, everyone. I hope that you
Easter.
enjoyed the long weekend, Sheyi. What are you doing this weekend?
Like I said last week, my Easter was very busy. I went to see my parents.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
I went to see
Good
other
busy.
family members, and yeah, I just got back today. So it was good. Was
Girl,
worth
you're
it.
lucky. You were having so much fun.
I actually ate a lot, so yeah.
And you didn't
I was
work.
excited about
I'm
that.
jealous.
Sorry.
It didn't work.
Oh, that's true.
I worked.
You
I'm
did.
what they call essential service.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you. The
But
well
you know, you
done,
always
the well
rock
done
it.
is belly fooling me. Anyway, happy Easter to everyone, and I hope that you've enjoyed the holiday. Get ready for tomorrow's Wahala because the hustle and bustle returns. The traffic will be waiting for you people at the junction.
See, let's talk about traffic today. The road was free.
I
It was
know.
free. Me that I usually
Girl.
have motion sickness. Today my eyes were open. I didn't sleep. I didn't try
Are
to
you
close my eyes. I
serious?
got here, in good time.
I wish
and
every
it
day was a
great.
holiday, you know. I literally got from my house to work in like maybe less than 15 minutes. It was just
I wish you
superb.
could have this every day.
I know.
But this is Lagos.
Exactly.
This is Lagos City.
The madness begins tomorrow. But
It does.
I've wanted to say this all day. As we are all in the, the spirit of the season, the hustle and the bustle, we're partying, we're picnicking, we're enjoying with friends and family. Do not forget the reason behind this season. The real essence of Easter, obviously, is that somebody took the fall for us, and that's why we're enjoying our lives today. So as we celebrate, whatever it is and however it is that you celebrate, don't forget somebody laid down his life for you, and you must show gratitude. And how do you show it? By being kind to one another, by being accommodating, by sharing, caring, showing love, and just being an amazing person and treat other people how you'd want to be treated. Do I sound like a preacher?
Somehow. But it was good. It was a nice preaching. You caught my attention.
Anyway, here's what we found as today's quote, and here it goes. If we decide to retain the Nigerian government system we have now, it must change the way it is practiced. And this is by His Eminence, Cardinal John Onaikan. Yeah, well, I don't know if we want to retain the kind of government, the way we're practicing what we call our democracy. I remember under the Jonathan administration, Donyo Kupe then, who was the spokesperson of the government, said on CNN that Nigeria has a way of doing its own things. And Nigeria has its own style of democracy. But I mean, I don't know if our style of democracy or our current system of government actually is something that we want to retain or maybe better upon. I don't know what your take
But
is.
how sure are we that even if we change the system of government, we would actually follow it thoroughly? That's another question to ask. So, you mentioned that he said we have a way of doing our things. So are we going to do the other systems of government our way, or we're going to do it the right way? So these are the questions and these are the issues.
I don't know. But I think that we also must make concerted efforts as Nigerians to start from where we stand. If we want our leaders to do right, then we, the followers, also have to do right, so that they don't even... So when they turn around and look at us and say, who are you to tell us what to do? Then they see that, look, we're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And you must do the right thing one way or another. I'm not saying that we're all going to be perfect, because we have, as human beings, we'll always have those who err. But if we can point our leaders in the right direction, because I always say that these guys, they don't fall from the moon. They're obviously from amongst us.
Exactly.
And it's what we allow that continues to go on. If there were not people who were supporting conspiracies of corruption and under the table, collecting money, paying 1K at listening to jump the line, obviously we won't have all these things.
That jumping of line, it starts from there as well, as citizens.
Exactly.
So we're asking the government to do better. How are we as citizens doing better? How are we obeying rules and regulations? So it's all...
You can't give what you don't have.
Yeah. And also, it takes two to tango. The government does theirs, we do ours.
In our little way, even though the government zone is now very obvious, but we're all part of the problem. So, hey, once again, if we decide to retain the Nigerian government system we have now, it must change the way it is practiced. His Eminence, Cardinal John Onaikan. Well, His Eminence Cardinal John Onaikan, the Emeritus Catholic Bishop of Abuja, has stated that it is time for Nigeria to transition to a new form of government that would lessen corruption and bring the government closer to the people. He believes that the country will benefit from anything that will decrease the discretion and corruption and bring government closer to the people. So today, we will be discussing the topic assessing the effectiveness of Nigeria's democratic process. And our guest is Bayo Sani. And when we open our phone lines, we would love for you to participate in the conversation today. So when we say the phone lines are open, they are indeed open. So if you're watching us live, please feel free to call and comment, all right? And would like to hear what you have to say. But first, let's take a break and tell you what's in the news. In fact, before we go on that break, let's find out what we have in the news. What's in the news for you today, Shay?
Okay, so it's about insecurity issues in the country. Armed men rob travelers, set bus on fire in Ogun State. Some armed men on Saturday attacked and looted a luxury bus at Okeado Junction, Ijebu-Mushin, along the Ijebu-Ode-Benin Expressway. The passengers were said to be on their way to the southeast for Easter celebrations when the incident happened. The hoodlums, after successfully robbing the passengers, decided to set the bus ablaze. The spokesperson for the Ogun State Police Command, S. Omolola Odutola, confirmed the incident. When I read the news, I was despaired because they actually locked the bus, set the bus on fire, and ran away. Thankfully, no one died. They found a way to escape and nobody died. So that's the great news, fantastic news, all of that. But it just shows that people will do anything. So they said that they stole everything. They even removed some people's clothes, some people were stark naked and all of that. So these are some of the issues because of the economic downfall in the country. But this is not to excuse bad behavior or excuse these things that are happening.
Not. Yeah.
But yes, these things we are getting to hear these things in news a lot.
It's a bit much. Before it used to be far-fetched, but now it's close to home.
It's already getting here. A lot of people say, oh, we are fine here, we are good here. It's coming close to home. So we just really need to, be careful. And the thing is, you cannot be overly careful. You cannot be too careful, because you don't even know what these people have planned. But my point would be, or what I would just tell everyone is, exercise, be cautious, wherever you are, make sure that you don't travel at night or in times when, all these things would really happen during the day.
Yes, no one really prays to be in a position where, you have to experience this kind of thing because it scars you forever. I was just having a conversation today earlier on, and I was saying to people how, for example, if you have to work, because on Thursday I had a makeup artist come do some makeup for me, and then by the time she was done, it was like 11 p.m. And I sincerely was worried for her because I was wondering, how are you going to go home? Are you sure you don't want to spend the night in my house? And, because I was worried that you're going to take a cab, whether it's whatever they call them, an e-hailing cab. But how certain are you that that person who's taking you home is really taking you home, or he's safe and secure enough to? So I asked people what do they consider when they want to take these night rides? What are the security measures that they put in place? And somebody who drives one of those cabs called and said, look, it's not just the riders that are unsafe. Even us, the drivers are sometimes unsafe. Someone calls you and says, come pick me up at so-and-so place. And then you show up, and there are two of them. And one sits in front with you, and then the other, instead of sitting behind the other one, sits behind you. Be careful, because they sometimes snatch cars, they can kill you, they can do anything to you. So he says even drivers have to be cautious because these late night rides are very, funny and sketchy. So whether we like it or not, security now has to be everybody's watchword, whether we like it or not. And maybe we have to scale down on the number of times we have to travel that late. If it's too late, stop somewhere and stay overnight. You can break
the journey.
Yeah, because and as ladies too, we have to limit. Even gentlemen, you need to limit your waka at night. Because except you're driving, then you know that you can be crazy enough to drive off. But it can be
boarding a vehicle, you have to be really careful.
It's tough because insecurity is rife in the country.
It is.
But my heart goes out to those people because they're scarred forever. It might take
Yeah.
a while for them to be able to travel
But I'm
again.
just really happy
That
that,
they're all safe.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're safe, because I mean they set bus on fire. That means they wanted them to die.
They wanted to kill
That's
them.
the worst form of death. Getting burnt to
Helplessly.
death. That's the worst. So I'm so happy that they came out fine, and at least we could hear, there were reports from the people who witnessed that.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank God. Well, let me tell you what I found in the news. Well, 3 bandit groups participated in the Kuriga student abduction, and we hear that they received ransom. Do you remember the Kaduna students? The numbers are now, there's a disparity as to what the numbers are. First, it was reported 287, and now the governor, Ubasani, comes out to say, well, no, it was 130 something. And so there were too many question marks. I remember on Arise Television when he was being interviewed, and they kept asking him, was money paid? Because some newspapers had reported that these children were released. If they were released, then monies must have changed and there must have been some negotiation. And some other people said they regained freedom, more like they were rescued. So if they were rescued, where are the soldiers? If they were rescued, where are the people that the soldiers caught? There must have been a gun battle, the fierce one at that, to be able to get these 100 plus students to regain their freedom, except that one teacher died. But where are the people? So Nigerians are saying, you're playing on our intelligence. We need to know what it is. And so, thank goodness, Premium Times newspaper decided to do an investigative report. And an eyewitness said, look, there were 3 different bandit groups that took us. They shared these students among themselves. And monies exchanged hands. In fact, he described that the monies came in, Ghana must go.
What?
I asked a question earlier on that, look, why is Governor Ubasani being so shady about, how these people regained freedom? If they regained their freedom, did money change hands? Was there a prisoner swap?
We need to know.
What exactly? Because we need to know, how are we fighting terrorism if we're continuously fueling the terrorism? If I'm kidnaps. If I'm a bandit and I'm asking for $1 billion and $1 billion was paid to me in hushed tones, I'll continue doing it. If your money is going to come to me so I can buy more guns and build more hideouts, I'm going to continue doing it. And then I'm going to do it brazenly because the government is in on it. But then he also goes to question Governor Sani about the order that Mr. President gave last week. He said no more payment of ransoms. He read a riot act to all security agencies and governors. But Ubasani decided that they were going to pay a ransom and hid it from us. Why should the people of Kaduna State trust him? I mean, what does this even say about our fight against terrorism?
Exactly. So it just shows that we are funding these groups and we are giving them the confidence that, see, if we just do this, this is what we're going to get. And yes, I understand the other side to it. Like, okay, so if you do not get these children, the parents are sad, it is a lot on the society. But like you said, we are basically encouraging further kidnapping activities. We are financing terrorism. And so these are the major issues. And another thing is the government, they owe us transparency.
Absolutely.
So even if you went against the president's directive, we need to know the truth. You owe us rather that you need to let us know what is happening. We don't need to hear it from other news outlets, oh, this is what happened. We need to trust you. And how do we earn their trust is when they tell us the right things, the things that actually happened. These are all the issues that...
It just goes to buttress the fact that there's some quotes that Nigerians quote. The former military president, Sani Abacha, that any insecurity that goes beyond 24 hours has the hand of a government official in it. As much as I hate that quote, there's some art of truth to it, because many people have said constantly that there are elites, that people in the corridors of government that have a hand in the terrorism that's been bedeviling our country. And that's why there's not any serious, political will to deal with it, because there's a lot of, we pump in a lot. Do you know how much money governors receive as security votes? It is the most secretive amount of money across this country. By the way, we're operating a democracy, but in our democracy, we're having tidbits of a military rule, because security votes come from the military era. It's not a democratic dispensationary stuff. So governments cannot even tell us how much is the security votes, and it runs into billions and of naira. Same thing as the monies that we give to security. but we don't know what they do with those monies. They're making money off it, and they're not telling us anything. They just keep telling us that, oh, we're on top of the matter. We'll leave no stone unturned, blah, blah, blah.
We're tired of
But
those
every
phrases.
single day, we're reporting insecurity. I used to say that if Nigeria was a circle and you put a pen and, tossed it, everywhere that pen faced, there's some insecurity. Look at what's happening in Delta State. Now it's trickled to Bayelsa. I mean, it's endless. Are we ever going to be able to get out of this situation? That's the question that everyone's asking. But hey, while I let you marinate on that, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we're still talking. Stay with us. Hello, you're still watching Ways, and it's the 1st of April 2024. And for those of you who know what the 1st of April is, it's April Fool's Day. And I was just having a banter with you just before the show. How we used to enjoy ourselves as kids, pranking our parents. And I remember we used to prank my grandmother. Oh my God, God rest her soul. My brother and I and my uncles. It was just an amazing thing. But let me give you some background onto April Fool's Day. April Fool's Day is also known as Fool's Day. It is observed in several countries on the 1st day of April. It is one of the lightest hearted things or days of the year, and it's celebrated by playing practical jokes and spreading hoaxes. These jokes are made on, the jokes and their victims are called April Fools. So in other words, if someone pranks you and you fall for it, they'll just say, April Fool! Well, I loved growing up.
Yes, I actually loved it too, but we were discussing it and I said today didn't feel like April 1st.
Yeah, it was low-key.
Maybe
more lower than low.
Yes, like nobody was even saying, oh, April Fools. Well, some people did, but a lot of things are happening, so nobody's interested in all of that. If you do it, before you see something else, someone will just show you another side of it.
Nigeria is happening to us.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, Nigeria is happening to us. We cannot even be playing. There's no room for smiling.
I mean, let's still try and have fun.
Oh, the people who did, but I mean, I totally even forgot about it until my friend sent me. She sent me like a payment receipt, like she sent me money, and I was like, Auntie, I know your plan, don't worry. And for her, she's like, why are you not having fun? It's supposed to be the fun part of it. But I feel like it's just, well, Nigeria is hard.
Nobody's interested in that.
But have you ever played a prank on your parents?
Yes, with my mom. So I think she asked me to do something for her. Yes, iron her dress. And I just said, what can I do to my mother to do? I think she made me upset in the morning. So I'm like, well, how can I get her and all of that? So I just went with her, Mom, I bought your outfit. And she started shouting, blah, blah, blah. She's going somewhere. Blah, blah. I said, April Fools. Then she laughed and, we forgot about what happened early in the morning. But yeah, I remember that vividly. It was a good memory. What about you? You look like somebody that used to do it a lot. I was a good girl.
I was a total menace. Total menace. And look, I grew up a boy, so I mean, we're up to the wrongest things ever, and it was just superb. I pranked my teacher. You
pranked your teacher.
We practically pranked our neighbors. We did. Oh my God, we were just. It was crazy, but it was the funnest thing to do. I mean, I was just telling you guys how we made my father come to school.
That one was extreme. I don't think I can try that with my dad.
But I mean, it's part of growing up. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
And when you pull those pranks, and your parents are. For me, the older I became, I was like, we need to be calming down. Because if your father and your mother, they have high blood pressure.
What will you tell them?
But I mean, it's fun. It's a fun time of the year. I'm hoping that kids today, take it on and, continue to relieve that experience, because I think we've become too serious.
We are too serious. The responsibilities, everything that's happening is getting to us.
Adulting is getting to us.
Adulting is the real ghetto.
Adulthood na scam.
I agree.
Anyway, Happy April Fool's Day to you all, and I hope that you had a great day pranking all your friends and family members, and I hope that nobody had high blood pressure, but we all had, giggles and laughter here and there. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll get into our conversation for today. Stay with us. Welcome to What Are You Saying Ways. It's time for us to talk about democracy. Well, democracy is a system of government where power is vested in people who exercise it through elected representatives. Nigeria is a vibrant country in West Africa, and it has adopted democracy in 1999 after years of military rule. Since then, the effectiveness of Nigeria's democratic process has been a subject of scrutiny and evaluation. Assessing the effectiveness of Nigeria's democratic process is an endeavor that requires attention to various aspects, including the conduct of elections, protection of civil liberties, inclusivity in governance, and the fight against corruption. While Nigeria has made progress in its democratic journey since transitioning from military rule, challenges remain that need to be addressed to strengthen the democratic institutions, uphold the rule of law, and ensure the full realization of democratic ideals for all Nigerians. So tonight, we're assessing the effectiveness of Nigeria's democratic process. Please, let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation and send us an SMS or WhatsApp via 081 803 84663. That's 081 803 84663. Really would like to hear from you. My guest tonight is Bayo Sani. He's the managing partner of Bayo Sani & Co. legal practitioner, who he is, and he's been doing this for over 15 years. He's a dispute resolution specialist and a public commentator. Mr. Sani, so good to have you join us on Ways tonight. Thank you for coming.
For having me on your program. Good evening.
Good evening to you. Let's start by, assessing Nigeria's democratic process since 1999 under the Obasanjo administration up until today, where we also have yet another Southwest president. Can you say that our trajectory has been an upwards trajectory, or have we flatlined since 1999?
Okay. You see, we must, first and foremost, regardless of the negative side that we have experienced, we must applaud ourselves for our commitment to democracy since 1999. I mean, we have seen several transitions from one democratic government to the other, despite the challenges, despite the irregularities in the electoral processes, despite violence, insecurity, and tribal sentiments that have continued to pose a threat to our electoral process and our democracy. But nevertheless, I mean, we have been able to sustain our democracy for a period of over 20 years. I recall that the former Secretary of State for the United States of America, Hillary Clinton, while speaking in Ghana during the Obama administration, predicted, let me put it that way, that Nigeria would not even survive that year. You understand what I'm saying? That Nigeria predicted that there won't be a country like Nigeria by, I think 2020 was the year she gave or something. But here we are, all right? Here we are. We're still standing firm as a nation, although there's so much turbulence, but we are still flying. So back to your question, is the trajectory upwards or we're going on the flat line? Well, we still have a lot of issues to resolve for the sake of our democracy. The democracy is no longer nascent, and we must understand that, and we must also accept that. We have gone over 20 years. We must put our house together and continue to resolve these issues, correct every anomaly that we see in our democratic system. So the major thing that we must look into, our leaders, the leaders, I mean, who are the pilots of this democratic system. That's the leaders of the country, the people in governance, the governors, the president, and every leader in every tier of government. How are they elected? How do they get into these offices? How do we put them in this position of power to make laws for us to direct our affairs and all that? That takes me to our electoral process. All right? If we are not careful, we can't be seeing the same problem every 4 years. And although we are committed to a democratic system of government, but how committed are we towards solving the electoral issues, electoral problems that we face every time there is, every time we have the opportunity to elect our leaders. I mean, look at it, our electoral process is still marred by, we still face issues of uh, vote buying, electoral fraud, all sorts of anomalies. You understand? So even though I want to applaud Nigerians for our steadfastness, for our commitment to this democracy, I also don't want to ignore the challenges that we face every 4 years when it comes to, if you are excited to go to the polling unit to cast your vote, to exercise your civic duty, but when the results start coming in after the election, you start hearing, I don't want to use the word depressed, but you're sad by the news of so many irregularities and all that. So we must have, there must be conscious effort. We must be intentional about solving our electoral problem if we want to elect good leaders in office. That is it.
Okay, all right. So I absolutely loved that you touched on transparency and fairness in elections. So talking about transparency and accountability, still dwelling on this, how can we as citizens hold the government to be more accountable and transparent? So I want you to give us practical steps. You know, most times we talk about it in a theoretical manner. So what are some of the key practical steps that we citizens can take to hold the government to be more accountable and more transparent?
You see, that is a thin line. When they say that citizens should hold government accountable, we must be very careful. There's a thin line there. You don't want to, although yes, you want to hold the government accountable, but at the same time, you don't want to run foul of the law. You don't want to cross the red line, because there are still laws in Nigeria that can still, there are still laws, or there are still administrative processes by which citizens are gagged from expressing their views, from expressing their displeasure, until we put the right law in place to check the people in authority. Look, they want to put this burden on government. Okay, there are basic amenities that are not provided for the citizens. Bad roads everywhere. How do you want the ordinary citizen on the street to do that? They've carried placards on so many times. They've protested. What do we see? Look at, I want to go back to the NSAS protest. Youth came out. What happened? Soldiers came out afterwards, started shooting. There are all sorts of allegations here and there. We still do not know the number of people that died on that day. You see, these are some of the things that there's little that citizens can do without the right framework, without the right laws that will check people in government from abusing their authority, from siphoning funds meant for the development of their society, of their environment. You ask for practical steps. The practical step must commence from the House of Assembly. The members of the House of Assembly are the representatives of the people. They are the mouthpiece of the people. That is why we have them. That is why we have the National House of Assembly, the State House of Assembly, as an arm of government, to speak for the people, to make laws for the people. It is the laws that are made, the laws made by the House of Assembly, that the executive will implement. That is how it works.
Mr. Sani, can I come in? Mr. Sani, I'm so sorry to talk over you, but let me come in there. Are you telling us?
Okay.
Are you telling us that members of our House of Assembly or the National Assembly, who you have said are supposedly our representatives, who are supposed to be representing our interests, making laws that will be executed by the executive, these same people who you are saying that need to help us are people who have been helping themselves in the past? These are people who have only made laws that only hold us accountable and not necessarily them. Again, in the recent past, we've seen them fight for cars and monies and sitting allowances that are much more higher than the amount of money that a university professor takes home as his pay. And most of these professors still haven't received their pay. Who's to say that these same people that you're talking about accountability on their past will cut off their nose to spite their face? Yeah. Mr. Sani, are you there?
Okay, I think I missed your point. You went off for a while. Can you?
Okay, let me shorten it. You said that okay, you're saying accountability begins with the members of our assembly and the people who make our laws. And I'm saying, I painted scenarios of these people receiving monies or doing things that only benefit them and their interest. Who's to say that these people will make the kind of laws that we need to benefit us when we know that these laws will not benefit them? Can you hear me?
Okay, I think I heard you. Can you hear me? Are you with me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
I heard you to the point where you said that these people, how do we expect these people to make laws that will be to our own benefit? Those ones who are, I mean, when we know that they only try to make us, the citizens, accountable instead of people in government accountable.
Yeah.
You see, they are still our first point of call. When it comes to elect, when we get to that point where we have to elect the people that are going into that office, that's why we're going to the House of Assembly, we must be intentional about the kind of people that we vote there. Unfortunately, it is, I mean, the kind of people that the political parties present to us that we will pick from, that is still another hindrance to the people getting the people in government accountable. It is the people that these political parties present to us that we will, among them, that we will elect the members of the National Assembly. So if we are not intentional about the kind of people there, and when they come back for that, and you know, there's a way you can even recall these members of the House of Assembly that are not really representing you. They can be recalled by the members of their constituency. There is a constitutional provision for that, to recall irresponsible members of the National Assembly. I'll put it that way. Because look, if they don't get these things right, if they don't make the right laws that will check the people in governance, citizens can only protest without holding them accountable. As a lawyer, I should be able to go to court and say that, look, you have breached the trust of your people. Attorney General should investigate you. But the first question, I mean, the first challenge I will face in the court of law will be the locus to file such action. Then these rights that we are talking about, are they even justiciable? Economic rights that will ensure quality education, quality healthcare delivery system, development of infrastructure, are they justiciable? These are the issues. Look at the example you cited while you were talking. In the last political dispensation under the Buhari administration, ASU went on strike for so many months. I believe that the first thing ASU went on strike, resident doctors went on strike, so many people lost their lives. A responsible House of Assembly should come back once this present National House of Assembly, that is the first thing they should tackle. What are the laws that we need to put in place? Not to stop ASU or resident doctors from going on strike. These are organized labor organizations that must actually put pressure on government. So your law should not be how to stop them from expressing their grievance. Your law should be how to ensure that the sector they represent is properly funded. Education is properly funded. Health is properly funded. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So If we now go back to our question, to our topic, that assessing this democracy, we should also touch on political apathy. If we are talking about how
Mr. Sani,
we
can
can
you just put
ensure
a pin there?
accountability,
I'm so sorry. Mr. Sani, can you put a pin there? Let's just go on a quick break. When we come back, let's talk about the apathy, because several Nigerians are at that break point where they don't want to have anything to do with the electoral process anymore. But we'll address that when we come back from the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to What Are You Saying Ways, and it's the Easter version of today's show, and we're talking about the effectiveness of Nigeria's democratic process. Have we had more gains than demerits? My guest, Mr. Sani, has been giving us, more like a road map to where we are and where we've come from and how we can better our lot. Now, Mr. Sani, before we went on that break, you did tell us, you were trying to talk about political apathy. And I must tell you, as someone who covered the just concluded 2023 governorship and presidential elections, Nigerians have gotten to that brink. A lot of people, and I'm not even talking about the youngsters who just got involved in the democratic process or the electoral process. I'm talking about those people who are like our parents, who've been part of the struggle for years, have come to a point where they're saying, I'm not this PVC, I don't want it. I don't want to come to the polling unit. I don't want to be beaten. And then at the end of the day, I don't get what I want. How do we even begin to tell people to gear up for 2027? How do you even get people to say you need to pick the right people when they already think at the back of their minds that, look, this is a selection process. No matter what we do, no matter how hard we fight, these guys have ruined the system to a point where our say is nothing.
We should.
Mr. Sani, are you there?
Okay, all right, I'm here. All right. Look, citizens who have just who have reached that point that, look, I've had enough. My PVC is just going to be for the purpose of for the purpose of meeting up with the requirement of as a means of identification. Only Republican. So their participation in their election starts from the primaries of those political parties. ensuring that the person that will become the flag bearer of their political party eventually is a man of good character, is somebody that is fit and proper for that office that he is seeking. That is the first step. We can't just wait till these political parties throw people of questionable characters at us, people who we don't even know what they were doing in the last 20 years, who just come around, And that is not to say that all of them are bad. There are fantastic people in governance. There are fantastic people holding good political offices. We must appreciate that, and we must also encourage those ones not to also give up and not to be overwhelmed by the challenges they are facing up there. Okay? But look, citizens must go beyond waiting for this waiting for these political parties to present these candidates to us, and we now have the choice of picking from bad or to worst person amongst them. All right? We must start from the primaries. We must belong to that political party. We must participate in the primary election. We must participate in the process of electing the flag bearer of the political party. Then we take it to the polling booth on the general election day to elect these people. So outside this electoral process, I'm still on the question on how we will hold them accountable. We have various labor organizations. Labor organizations in any democratic dispensations are pressure groups that must keep government on their toes. We have the Nigerian Labour Congress, the Trade Union Congress. Apart from all this, as an ordinary citizen, the Constitution allows you to participate in these protests. Okay? But, most of us also, we should blame ourselves as citizens. Sometimes we behave as if we don't care. We behave that this is not our business. We just go about our normal business. Look at what happened that you just mentioned in your program, the news about these children that were kidnapped in Kaduna. Pupils from primary school, some of them as young as 9, 6, I don't know. I mean, you as a media practitioner, you will even have better facts than me. But from what I read, so people went about their business as if nothing happened. That is why somebody like the governor of that state won't even be able to tell us whether ransom was paid or not, despite the fact that the president told us that no ransom will be paid for the release of those children. Okay, but the governor, is telling us one thing or the other. People went about it. That broke my heart. Not the fact that these children were even kidnapped. It's terrible enough that these innocent children were kidnapped. But another thing that brought tears to my eye was the attitude of citizens to it, as if nothing happened. People in the south behaved as if nothing happened. People in southeast behaved as if, as long as it's not in my state, as long as none of them is my relative, I can go about my normal business. That will not happen in a sane climate. They will go out, put government on their toes, bring governance to stand still until we bring out those children.
Absolutely.
That's our own fault also as citizens. And these people, the political class, they've read us so well. They have a very clear understanding of our nature as a people. They know that, they will shout for a while. The media men and the press will find something, some other interesting news to put in their faces after some time.
I love that you mentioned the media, but I'd first like to talk about what you mentioned on citizen engagement. It's really important that the people are participating in the democratic process. Democracy is government for the people and of the people, right? Okay, so now I want us to talk about the media's role in shaping perception on democratic system of government. Do you think the media is doing a great role in shaping the perception of Nigerian citizens on democratic process? Did you get that?
The media playing a great role. I got that.
Okay.
Look, I won't just bring the armor on the media just like that. I must also try to identify the challenges they faced also in the course of performing their duties. Look, if there's no freedom of press in any democratic setting, what you have is a sham. Okay? It's part of the major requirements of democracy. The media, freedom of press. The press must be free. Yeah. Not absolutely free, publishing libelous materials up and everywhere, but allow them to perform their responsibilities effectively. However, we have seen political leaders who are also owners of radio stuff, of TV stations, yeah, of newspaper companies, of all sorts of, and we have seen very extremely biased media organizations. Extremely biased, when I put it that way. They don't want to report anything good about government. You know, also projecting all sorts of propaganda. That even casts a doubt on their own transparency, on their own integrity. Okay? So we still expect a lot from the media. At the same time, we should also identify the challenges they face. In Nigeria today, a governor can just say, oh, you have reported something nasty about me, whether it's true or not. We'll report you to DSS, and DSS will pick you up and lock you up somewhere. Just like we had in military era. And we still see some of those things happening in democratic dispensation. That is very wrong. That is very wrong. You know, because if you look, and then I can over, as a journalist now, I have my report, but because my boss is a friend of one governor or one minister, my boss will instruct me to kill it. But when we talk about this, Nigeria is this problem is not exclusively a problem in, it's not exclusively a Nigerian problem. It's all over the place. It's all over the place. I mean, the present election in a country like the United States of America, you still see diverse opinions on several TV stations. If you want to hear good things about Trump, you have to tune into some stations. If you want to hear bad things about Trump, all you have to do is just tune to some other TV stations. If you want to hear good things about Biden, you just watch some TV stations. If you want to hear bad things about Biden, you tune into some TV stations. That's a country that is over 200 years. I mean, America's democracy started as far back as 1776, when they gained independence and when they elected their first president. And they still have that challenge. So we shouldn't condemn ourselves. Nevertheless, we shouldn't sit in our comfort zone and say, oh, because a country like the United States of America has not gotten it right, we are okay where we are. We are not. Okay. There's still room for a lot of improvements. Okay. There's still room for a lot of improvement. Yes.
Thank you very much. We've got a message. Don't forget, you can be part of the conversation. Send an SMS or WhatsApp message to 081 803 84663. That's 081 803 84663. Or you can call us, because we'd like for you to call us live on the show, 0702 500 7749. That's 0702 500 7749. We've got a WhatsApp message, Shay.
Yes, we do. We have a WhatsApp message from Daniel Elo. It says, good evening, my beautiful sisters of ways. Assessing the effectiveness of Nigeria's democratic process. Under normal circumstances, our great country, Nigeria, has never had a tangible and reliable democracy. Democracy normally should be a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, but the reverse is the case. From time immemorial, our democracy has been inconsistent. That is, if at all we have one. A government that imposes a leader on the masses without the masses choosing a leader, then there is no democracy. We really need help when it comes to democracy in Nigeria. God will help us all. We need to put our acts together, cause a divided house cannot stand. God bless you, my beautiful ladies in the studio. My name is Daniel Elo, Ways regular fan.
It's
always
Daniel.
nice to read from you, Daniel.
Yes, always a pleasure. Well, if you have a contribution, you can feel free to call us. The numbers are on your screen, or send us a WhatsApp message, because we always want to hear from you. After all, it's what are you saying? Mr. Sani, in closing, we have just 1 minute for you to close on this. What would be that thing that you'd say to the average Nigerian who's downcast, who's facing an economic downturn, who's facing a cost of living crisis, insecurity, who's a government to himself, providing its own water, almost fixing its own roads and providing security at the gates or the junctions of their street? What is it that you tell them that would give them hope to hold on for a better Nigeria in the future?
We shouldn't give up. Don't give up. It will still be better. And we continue to participate. We continue to educate ourselves. We continue to make effort to elect good leaders, but we shouldn't give up. We shouldn't give up. That is what I'll just tell us. It's challenging. If you look at the situation today, I mean, the average man can't even feed his family. Children can't even go to good schools. But we shouldn't give up. Like I said earlier, look, it's not that they are all entirely bad. We have seen some governors performing wonders. Recently, it went viral that there's a state in Nigeria, Abia State, they've experienced constant power supply for some days now. We've seen the worst stage in Nigeria. I've seen worse days here in Nigeria. I was here when the June 12th crisis happened. I was here when Chief MK Abiola died, and there was so much crisis all over the place. Okay, I was here when the 2007 election was marred by extreme violence all over the place. But here we are. We're still standing.
Well,
yes,
we're still
and
standing.
We have been able to change.
We're still standing. Mr. Sani, I want to say thank you.
Another thing that tells us we are getting it back.
Yes,
thank you very much.
I want to say thank you. Bayo Sani is the managing partner of Bayo Sani & Co. He's a legal practitioner with over 15 years experience, and we want to say thank you so much for being part of the conversation today. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for watching. But before we go, do ensure to follow us on Instagram at Ways Show Africa and Official Upgrade TV. You can also interact with us further by dropping a comment. And most importantly, follow all our social media engagements. And remember to like, share, and comment. Invite your friends and family to watch us and also follow us. Now, if you missed anything today, let me give you today's important quote again. Here it is. If we decide to retain the Nigerian government system we have now, then it must change the way it is practiced. And this is by His Eminence Cardinal John Onaiyekan. Well, my name is Mary Ann Okon. I will see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. But thank you, special thanks to my very favorite anchor.
Thank you, Mary Ann, my favorite too.
Yes, and happy Easter to you and your friends as we get ready for tomorrow. And the hustle and bustle.
The hustle and bustle of Lagos.
My name is Mary Ann Okon. Have a pleasant night rest. Good night.
Good night.